Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is finally me showing you all how I expense track and kind of looking at how I did in July. So before I get started, this is in no way like the super good YouTubers that do finances for their actual channel. I am not like that at all. I am just a girl who is trying to start being a lot better and financially literate, but I know that the first and the best way to start is through its expense tracking. When you expense track, then it's easier for you to just understand where your money is going, even if you haven't created a budget yet. I'll be honest, I don't stick well to a budget, and that's because I always feel like my bills outweigh the budget, which definitely shows where God comes in. So let's get into it. So this is what I use. I love these sheets. If you've watched any of my setup videos, the monthly setups, that I definitely the ones that I used to do in my monthly composition notebooks, then you'll see this is how it looks. It's not something I created. I don't remember where I got it from, but it was the best decision I've ever made because I can just keep making copies of it. But I like how everything is sectioned out. So like each day you're able to clearly see what you spend in a day. It's more than enough spots. The one thing that I haven't done on here that I thought about, but I think it'd be too confusing, is if I actually put my bills on here. So what I tend to do is, use like a monthly tracker. But if you look at here, this is how the spending sheet looks in most planners. And sometimes I have to look back, and as you can see, I tried it, but it just wasn't working. So I'll just continue to expense track in here, and I'm totally fine with it. It works for me. So this is July, this past month. Now, July is significant for a lot of reasons. It's 3 birthdays in this month. That's important. And then this is also the month where I sometimes tend to start getting school things. This year, my kids go to school a lot earlier than before. Before, it was after Labor Day. This time, they are actually starting school next week. So I did birthdays as well as school shopping. So I think this month it's definitely heavy because of that. So I just scratch off the days that I did like a no spend. It's also good if you're doing a tracking like I regularly do in my general planner, because it's easy to go back and say, okay, this is the days that I didn't spend. So for down here, I recently started, I'd say like the last couple of months, started tracking what I spent on prescription and what I spent on copays, because that is going to be very significant. Because I would say last month to probably the end of this year is going to be very heavy in copays, because my kids have surgery. They've went to specialty doctors. So that's another thing. My son had an emergency room visit a couple of days ago. That's $150. That of course will come into next month's play. But I just wanted to see, so like at the end of the year, I can kind of see how much I spend. So the first week in July was pretty good. So I also color code. You'll see the like the blue is for groceries and any household items. No color is for my kids. Gas and any cart maintenance is purple. Pink is for my personal. Yellow is for eating out, and the green is for like miscellaneous things. Anything that is not included in the other sections. And I just thought that that would be easier for me instead of breaking everything up, because I used to have a separate household section. And I think this is just a lot easier. So this week, it wasn't as bad. I spent a total of $157 for this week. The highest thing I spent on in the first week in July was personal. And it tends to be personal in a lot of areas. If it's not personal, then it's eating out. So that's how I know. Unfortunately, I'm not separating my personal. So personal can also include like self-care. So sometimes that work is stressful, and I get me something to eat. If I didn't take a lunch at work on the way home, I don't consider that necessarily just leisurely eating out. Is something that I'm doing for like self-care so that it's faster when I come home. I can shower or bathe and get in bed. So personal includes all of that. It includes my skincare products, anything like that that I have to buy is included in personal. When I go for massages and I tip, that's in personal. So it's a lot of things that comes into personal besides just randomly spending money on different things. So like for this week, you'll see UPS was on there for one. And that, I was making sure I'm still recording. UPS was on for one day, and that was a necessity because I had to return some things. The budget app was down for that. So that is included in personal, as well. So this was the first week. I didn't do so bad in eating out. So let's go to week 2. I did spend $35 in prescriptions. So let's go to the second week. Second week in July was definitely higher than the first week. The first week was $157, and this is not including the prescription because I logged that separately. So this is just those expenses, not including prescription. For the second week, it is significantly higher. My total for the second week was $364, $384 with the included $20 prescription. And onto prescription will also be like any over-the-counter medicine as well, because me and my kids take the once a day allergy. So that's included in it as well. This week, the highest thing was my kids. And let's see why. Highest, and it was simply because my son's graduation pictures. So even though I could have put that as miscellaneous because it was something that it was kind of planned, but I should have done it last month. But it was still for the kids, so I wanted to stay true and log it for that. So that's the reason why it came up the highest for that week, and it was just that one item. The next one that comes in is miscellaneous. Excuse me. And the reason why miscellaneous was so high was because 112 was an order for Amazon, and they were birthday things. So one of the things that came in there that I got was my son loves wrestling, and I was able to go online on Amazon and get like the wrestling paper plates, napkins, a board that comes up, balloons, all of that. So it was worth the buy. Eating out was still higher than what I would want it to be. So that is that. Now going into week 3, it did go down. So first week, 157 total. Second week, 163 total. Third week, 192 and 227 with prescriptions, because week 3 I spent $35 in prescriptions. Now mind you, prescriptions include me and my kids. All of us are on regular medication. My kids are on 2 separate medications. They both take seizure medications, and a couple of others. So that's I think that's the reason why I will continue to see like the prescription numbers go up. This week for week 3, my highest was in miscellaneous, and again because of birthdays. So you'll see like Red Lobster on here. Miscellaneous from the Dollar Tree with some decorations, and food. So it's basically food. Pete's Miscellaneous. Pete's is like a grocery store, like a huge all-around kind of grocery store. 27 was spent for that, but that was my mother's gift. She really wanted a plant. She always asked for plants. So that was for that. So that was like the highest. The next one that came in as the highest was groceries. And that is week 3. Week 4 and the last week was the ultimate spend. $719. Again, this is July. It's school preparation and it's birthdays. And that's something that I had to continuously remind myself, because I was getting very down about what was spent in this week. But highest for this week was my kids. $250 was spent at Walmart for some back to school things. Mind you, this was just like clothes. Ending last year was bad because they both were kind of getting big out of their clothes, and we were like holding on to the last of what fit because I didn't want to buy anything new then. So $250, and I didn't even get that much stuff, and I shopped at Walmart, so it wasn't like I went to someplace expensive. And I still don't even have their school supplies yet because they didn't email or send out a school supply list yet. So I know I'll get that next week, the first week of school. So that was pretty much where the highest came in, because $250 was for Walmart, and the school clothes, and $103 was for the down payment for my son's registration. His registration totaled $508, and they let you do a payment plan, but the lowest you could go was $100. So it was $100 immediately, and then $100, and you get to pick the day that you wanted to come off of your card. So that's why that was high. Again, it was something I expected, but that's the reason why I kick myself, because the beginning of the year I didn't do well with tracking, whereas now my main thing is now I have to put it in the system, like on the Excel sheet. So that way at the end of the year, I can see, okay, what is the month that I spent the most in and why? How can I start saving up for that month, whether it's working extra hours and putting it aside? You know, how can I not have the pool? The bill is going to be there, but the issue is not having the money on hand and having to charge, and that's what's keeping me kind of in the position I am with that. I honestly am going to go further down in debt because the hospital, like I said, between last month, this month, and toward the end of this year, between their surgeries, the general fee for going in and under anesthesia, and then the deductibles from the dental fee, it's just a lot is going to come out. So yeah, after that, the next highest was groceries. And yeah, I think this last week, the eating out was the highest that it had been, because it was 47. Yeah, it was 47. That was the highest for the month. So I like seeing this, because now next month I'll be able to say, okay, did I go down? And what area did I go down in? And what area did I stay? Or what area increased? And why did it increase? So I should see. I don't know about the kids because I still have to get school supplies. But so on the back, I did a total, like I added each week out. My total prescriptions for July was $90. My total, like all of these expenses, eating out, my kids, groceries and house things, miscellaneous, personal, and gas, was $1,432. So as you can see, gas, I did not use gas. That must be for next month. Yeah. I didn't use gas because I was sick a good part of this month, and so I wasn't leaving or going from work or anything, and I didn't go to see my friend who stays maybe 40-50 minutes away. So that kind of saved me on gas. Other than that, I live really close to where I work. So yeah, I definitely want to see this number go down. Prescription, I know if anything, July I had no co-pays. August is going to be a significantly high amount of co-pays that's paid, because I already have some that are waiting that I just didn't pay yet. So August, I am definitely going to be hit. I may have to even pick up an extra day, and I don't want to, because I really don't want to make my debt no worse than it already is. So hopefully next month things can go down. Let me know how you all track, if you all have been tracking, if you ever tried expense tracking. I feel like it's just a really good way to be more aware and involved in the money, and being able to say, okay, this is where my money is going. Do I like it? Is it reasonable? Is it not? You know, am I living how I should, or do I need to live below my means? I can tell you right now, I need to live below my means. But everything is a progress, a work in progress, at least for me. And it's just good to even start doing this. So I would encourage anybody who's not, start expense tracking. It doesn't have to be on anything like this. You know, just grab a sheet of paper and say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You can still section it out. Like, do a square, do a cross, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then just like I have at the back, like the sections, like groceries and whatever sections that you want to make sure you're tracking. And then just add things on. It's as simple as that. I think it's just a good way to be more in control of your money, or at least know what plans you need to make moving forward. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.